Tar Heels becoming wolf puppies? Dukies becoming Tar Heels? What is this world we're living in? And by the way, why is Will Wade running his mouth?
This is Tyler Hansbrough, and you're listening to Locked On Tar Heels.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, what's up? It's Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Schade, and you're joining me at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your first listener watch to get your Tuesday going the right way. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. I want to send a special shout out to all the everydayers here with us, all the members of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord, and our great insiders as well. Welcome in, everybody. Let's get it going. Coming up on the show today, Will Wade made some comments recently that were interesting. Good bit to unpack with that. We'll look at the coaching side of it. We'll look at the Ven-Allen Lubin side of it. It's a whole weird thing. And the Dookie is making his way to Chapel Hill. We knew this was going to happen eventually. Welcome to the portal era. All right, let's dive in. In case you were living under a rock, a big rock, the past few days, Will Wade, NC State's new head basketball coach, at some sort of event for NC State, it looked like maybe it was like donors or fans with some of the basketball players there. I didn't bother to look at what this event actually was because whatever. But at this event, he took some shots, some not so thinly veiled shots at North Carolina while discussing Ven-Allen Lubin and NC State's excitement at having Ven-Allen Lubin. Here's what he said, quote, "The other school was too dumb to play him," end quote. Another thing, quote, "When he, Ven-Allen, plays 28 plus minutes, he's done that 23 games, he averages 15 and 8, meaning points and rebounds. I don't know why they didn't play him, but we're going to play him, so he's going to average 15 and 8, end quote. Okay. I want to be known, I want Carolina to be known by what the university is for, not what they are against. So rather, we'll say some potentially critical things here, but I want to start by saying this. I am very proud to represent a university and coaches such as Hubert Davis and Roy Williams and Dean Smith, who would not make a statement like any of that. Neither to put a player in a weird spot, nor to trash the opposing coaches or school in that way. And so say what you will about Coach Hubert Davis, and some of that is certainly warranted. They're still trying to figure things out. He's not going to do that. And that's what I want. That's what I want to be known for. And that's why I'm proud to be able to cover UNC basketball. I mean, heck, I'd go so far as to say that neither Coach K or John Shire would do things like that. They are, I think, similar to the Carolina staff, too classy for that. And I mean, it's just par for the course, it seems like, and it's clear that Coach Wade knows the assignment, right? We've heard it from the likes of Dave Doran, their football coach. And now Will Wade, is doing the same thing. It's very on brand for NC State. I mean, when he's saying those things, he knows exactly what he's doing, right? It plays to the Wolfpack crowd. It's, potential rage bait to the Carolina crowd. And while I don't want to fall prey to just oh, look at what Will Wade did, I do want to talk about it. First off, it's have you earned the right yet to come speak into this? Aren't you the guy that has been punished for your strong blank bleep answer or offers while you were at LSU, got relegated to McNeese State, and things went well there. Good job. And now you're here. And I think it's great. Like, I love it. I love having NC State and Duke and Carolina all being good. Like, Wake, I want to see that too. But it's just like, Coach Wade, you are a good basketball coach. You don't have to do it that way, man. You don't gotta get into that. But when you do, for me, it reflects poorly on you, on your institution, on your team. And you've been here all of 3 minutes. Like, it's not time yet. Maybe win, and if you do, then you can start chirping. But for now, keep your mouth shut, right? Also, it seems kind of silly to me to go ahead and just start revealing your front court plans to us. Because NC State landed, yes, Ven-Allen, but also Darion Williams. They have a couple other big men. Darion Williams is not going to not play. And if you're saying you're going to play Ven-Allen, what is it? The 28 plus minutes, and he's going to average 15 and 8. Then is that going to be your front court? Are you going to put Darion Williams at the 3? Are you going to play Ven-Allen at the 4? There's a couple other guys that could be that 5, but it's just, okay, go ahead. Let us know what you're doing. And I'm not sure it's going to work. It may work. But ultimately, it's not the way to handle your business. And if you want to come in and be part of this and raise the stakes, cool. Then that's going to make North Carolina all the more want to come after you and wipe the floor with the Wolfpack, as they do time after time after time. Like, I saw some State fan in the comments being like, oh, Hubert Davis hasn't done anything against NC State. Like, whatever. Okay, I probably should have looked this up previous, but now I'm like, okay, let's look this up in real time. How has Hubert Davis done against NC State? Kentucky, NC State, there we go. Dean Smith, Roy Williams, Hubert Davis. Let's see here. Win, loss, win, loss. So that would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And remind me, what did Carolina do to NC State this year? Must have lost. Is that how it played out? Did Carolina lose to NC State this year? No. I think they beat them. Interestingly enough, I think they beat them, and was it twice maybe? 197-73. Oh my, that's a beatdown there, NC State. Any other times they played? Or was that it? Let's see here. No, Carolina won in Raleigh, 63-61. Closer. Carolina won. Oh, that's right. Not the guy that you just got, but Jalen Washington, just doing work on you. So Hubert Davis is 7-2 against NC State. So go ahead, Will Wade, do it. Start winning these games, and then you can talk. But until such time, why are you going to start questioning Hubert Davis's usage? And sure, there are different usages I would like to see of different players at different times. But it sure hadn't worked out well for NC State, because they are 2-7 against North Carolina in the Hubert Davis era. Thank you. We'll take ours and we'll continue moving on. So that's the coaching side of this thing. What about the Ven-Allen Lubin side of this thing? What does it mean, and what does it look like for him? Because that's kind of weird too, right? We'll get to that in just a second. Right after I tell you about game time, there's nothing like the NBA playoffs, and right now, specifically the NBA finals. The intensity, buzzer beaters, fans losing their minds, it's the kind of atmosphere you have to experience live. And boy, have this year's matchups delivered in a big way. And if you want in, Game Time makes it fast and easy to get seats, even for these biggest NBA playoff games. Prices on the app actually go down the closer we get to tip off. So with killer last minute deals, panoramic seat views, and no surprise fees, Game Time's a total game changer. I love that I can see my exact view from my seat before I buy, no surprises. And the app makes it so simple to buy. 2 taps and you're done. And there's the Game Time guarantee. If you find a better price, same section, same row, they're going to refund you 110% of the difference. Game 6, Thursday. Could be the Thunder closing this thing out in Indianapolis. And if you want to see that, use Game Time to get some of those tickets. It's a bit expensive, but what do you expect? It's the NBA Finals. Get-in price right now is $603, including fees. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Terms do apply. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. So that was the Will Wade side of that whole weird scenario. But then the Ven-Allen Lubin side of it is odd to me as well, because this dude, Ven-Allen, poor guy, was in the building. They had him stand up. And I feel like this situation has to be weird for him. Because it's somewhat like I feel like I've seen this before where somebody dates somebody, and let's say a guy starts dating a girl and he knows that the previous boyfriend wasn't that great. And so he starts bashing the boyfriend. But the girl at some level still has love in her heart for that ex-boyfriend for whatever reason, right? She loved him or she wouldn't have started dating him in the first place. And so she looks at this new boyfriend who's bashing her old boyfriend. It's like, you don't know him. Keep his name out of your mouth, right? I feel like at some level, yes, I know Ven-Allen Lubin is an NC State basketball player right now. But there's got to be some part of him that experienced that and was like, Coach, I know I'm at your school now, but you don't know about Hubert Davis. You don't know about Chapel Hill. You don't know about my experiences. Keep Carolina out of your mouth. I feel like he's got to feel like he's in a weird spot there. And then the comment about, I guess I didn't say that. I forgot to say this as I was setting this all up, but he said that Coach Wade said they found him on the side of the road. And that part of it is strange too, because that makes it sound like Carolina kicked Ven-Allen Lubin to the curb. Let's remember, Ven-Allen kind of put himself on the curb by entering the portal. Yes, he came back out and said hey, I want to be here, but it wasn't the right move. And he got what I'm going to continue to believe is he got bad advice, followed it. And this is where things are now. Had that not happened, he'd still be a Tar Heel. And so we found him on the side of the road. Well, yeah, because he hitchhiked there. If you want to go with that analogy, he took himself out. Also, can we talk about this? At least part of the reason Ven-Allen left, there was the whole thing about he's trying to set things well for NIL for himself ahead of time, but also, can we recognize the fact that Carolina recruited over Ven-Allen Lubin? They bring in Henri Veesaar, who we expect to start at center for North Carolina, meaning Ven-Allen Lubin would not have started at center for Carolina. And that's okay. Initially, that was the hope for all of us, that when he came last year, it would have been to play behind a higher level Armando Bacot type, or some big time dude with requisite size for the center position at that position with Ven-Allen behind him. That was going to be the case this year. And so part of me wants to say back to Will Wade, hey, buddy, Carolina's not going to play him 28 minutes a game because he's the backup center. And that is not that's not a knock on Ven-Allen. It's him being in the right role for what he should be in for Carolina for this year, with Henri, Veesaar as the starter, and you bring in Ven-Allen Lubin as the change of pace back. So, like, okay, Coach Wade, you've got to be able to see here that you're bragging about starting and playing for 28 minutes Carolina's backup center. Yes, he was not that last year because Carolina needed him, because Jalen Washington just wasn't able to live up to those things. But that's what you're bragging about. And I hope he does well. I hope Ven-Allen Lubin has a great year, but I hope we stomp on them. That's that. Now, there was also kind of funny because, a bunch of different people put the graphics out of these quotes from Coach Wade. And Kevin Sweeney from Sports Illustrated, that writes about college basketball, does a great job, quote tweeted, I think it was like On Three's graphic, quote, whatever it was, and said, by my count, quote, I've got 24 games in Lubin's career where he played 28 plus minutes. His team's records in those games were 7-17, including 2-3 this past year at UNC, end quote. And so, look, it's like, whatever. The stats are the stats, but it's, Vanderbilt and Notre Dame and a North Carolina team that was taking a long time to find their way. Carolina shouldn't have needed him to play 28 minutes a game. Again, and the fact that Will Wade is making these claims of Ven-Allen's going to do this, and it's going to apparently make them some juggernaut in Raleigh, and then he's now getting fact-checked on it, is hilarious to me. It's like, sure, go ahead. Try to cook here, Coach Wade, but it's not going to work out. Because people are going to call you on it. And again, let's say that Ven-Allen Lubin and Darion Williams, you start them at the 4 and the 5. We'll see what happens. Darion could start at the 3. But if so, we know that Ven-Allen is 6'8". We know Darion Williams was playing an undersized 4 last year for Texas Tech. I think he's like 6'6". So you're telling me you're going to go 6'6", 6'8" at your 4 and 5? Okay. Thank you. We appreciate that very much, right? Again, going back to what we said about you're telling us your front court plans. Did you see how that undersized front court worked out for Carolina last year? Just keep all that in mind. And so ultimately with all of that, it's like, okay, you have put your new player in a weird spot by saying the things you said about him. And I hope Ven-Allen doesn't feel that awkwardness, but how could you not? Man, crazy. Well, if it's not crazy enough for Ven-Allen to go from Carolina straight to NC State with some weird Will Wade quotes in the middle, here it is. We've been waiting on it to happen, and now it's here. A Dookie is coming to Chapel Hill, and a lot of people are not sure how to feel about it. We'll unpack this coming up in just a second. The Diamond Heels, Carolina baseball, was going to need a Luke Stevenson replacement, their catcher, who's going to be off to the MLB draft. Yes, he just finished his sophomore year, but he is a draft-eligible sophomore. For those unaware, in baseball, you can either go straight out of high school to the majors, or you can come to college, but you got to play 3 years. But there are some that are draft-eligible after their sophomore year, such as the case with Luke Stevenson. So Carolina needs a replacement for him. They had one catcher portal transfer guy come in, Colin Hynek from Georgia State. And so, hey, that's helpful. But then Carolina was like, yeah, we're not done. And so then they go find who is probably going to be the Luke Stevenson replacement, but it comes from the unlikeliest of places. In this transfer portal era, we are starting to see oddities of like, well, that would have never happened before. Oh my, you went from there to there. That happened. We just talked Ven-Allen Lubin going straight from Carolina to NC State. Yes, we had the Dontrez Styles transfer from Carolina ultimately to State previously, but there was the Georgetown in the middle of it. And now, here it is. A Dookie is transferring from Duke to North Carolina to play baseball. His name's Macon Winslow, and he's a catcher. Now, before we get into him and what he does in the baseball of it, I've been waiting for this to happen, chiefly in men's basketball, right? But in football or women's basketball or anything like that. Surely it was going to come to fruition at some point that a Tar Heel would go be a Blue Devil, or a Blue Devil would come be a Tar Heel. That, like, it was bound to happen, and here we go. It's on the baseball field first. Will we see it on the basketball court? We're getting all these inevitabilities, but the NC State one's weird. I think Duke would be even weirder. I'm not going to put it past anything in the portal era, but that's where it is. So, and it's like everyone's getting in on this thing. Somebody had tweeted about it, and then Armando Baycott quote tweeted it and did the Spider-Man pointing at each other thing. And one of them had Ven-Allen Lubin's head on it, and the other had Macon Winslow's face on it, on those Spider-Man. So it's just like people are recognizing this, seeing the oddity of it in our Locked On Tar Heels Discord. Different people feel in different ways about, like, do I actually want this? Am I okay with a Dookie coming over? Like, all of the people just trying to learn how to reckon with it, because it's brand new in this age that we're living in, where taking steps that are the right thing for you, either from a financial standpoint or from a standpoint of getting yourself seen, whatever it may be, that now is going to at times trump these long-held rivalries. And so we got to learn to accept it, and it's going to be difficult. I mean, can you imagine, like, Duke great Christian Laettner is transferring to North Carolina? People would lose their minds. And so the fact that it's happening first in baseball maybe makes it a little bit more palatable and gets us a little more used to it, so that if and when it happens in football, as we've seen an NC State player come to Carolina, or if it happens in women's or men's basketball, we've had a little taste of it already, and maybe that allows us to accept it a little better. So catcher Macon Winslow is coming to North Carolina. On his Instagram post, he just simply said "new chapter," had the little ram emoji and hashtag Go Heels, and it was just a big picture of the Carolina logo. And it's pretty cool. I mean, Luke Stevenson himself, who we just said hopefully Macon Winslow is his replacement, comments on it, right? Beautiful stuff. Several other Heels. I noticed Gavin Gallagher commented on it. Folger Boaz commented on it. All of this kind of stuff. And look, aside, like, if you can just set aside the Duke of it all and just say, hey, Carolina's getting a transfer portal catcher. He's coming off his sophomore year, going to be a junior. He's played 100 games at his previous school, started 96 times. This year as a sophomore, as his former team's full-time catcher, he hit 278, 490 slug, 391 on-base percentage, scored 43 runs, had 55 hits, 13 doubles, a triple, way to leg that out, catcher, 9 bombs, including a game-tying 9th inning home run against Pitt in the ACC tournament, 48 ribbies, 31 base on balls, and then here's the one icky one, 54 strikeouts. Really got to cut down on that. Just 5 career errors from this young man at his previous school. He was on the all-regional team, like his former team played their regional in Athens at UGA, with UGA as the seeded team, and it was his former team that won out of that regional, and he was on the all-regional team for that. Our new catcher, Macon Winslow, was on the Buster Posey Award watch list, the midseason watch list, which is the NCAA award for college's best catcher. And so there's all these accolades that you look at, and it's like, oh, okay, great. And so if you can just take the Duke out of it and remind yourself, like, this dude was a super productive catcher at his former school. One of the most coveted catchers in the portal. Has only been in the portal, I guess I should say, just a week, right? And quick bio blast, because we haven't talked about. We said he's a rising junior. He's 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, from Hertford, North Carolina. Bats and throws right-handed. And it just makes a lot of sense that he would enter the transfer portal. Chris Pollard, Duke's head coach, has gone to become Virginia's head coach. Talk about weird kind of transitions. And so, I think it's 23 different Duke players at this point have entered the portal, including our own now catcher, Macon Winslow. And so he is the, I want to say, sixth portal addition now. We already mentioned Colin Hynek, catcher from Georgia State. I think will now become the second catcher behind Winslow. Got a first baseman from Stony Brook. His name's Eric Paulson. Another Georgia State player, outfielder Michael McGinnis. And shortstop from North Dakota State, Jack Schaffner. And then a young man from UNCW who I don't think we'll ever see throw a pitch for North Carolina, but Trace Baker, a pitcher from Wilmington. He's expected to be drafted and then ultimately sign. And so I doubt we'll ever see him at Carolina, but maybe the pull is enough to get him to come to Chapel Hill. So anyway, that's where things are at right now. And yes, I'm going to say it again. This is true and honest and is happening. A Duke student athlete is transferring to North Carolina. That is happening. And it's going to be on the baseball field. And so just let's figure it out. Let's figure out how to get our brains wrapped around that and to be able to cheer for him. And, maybe we could just say he saw the light. He made the right choice. And now Macon Winslow is going to be a Tar Heel. That's how I'm going to interpret it, right? That's great. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for joining me today on the show. Curious your thoughts on the Will Wade thing. How did you see that? How did you frame that up for yourself? How do you feel about a Dookie coming to be a Tar Heel? I'd love to know your thoughts there as well. If you've not subscribed to the show on YouTube and audio platforms, make sure you do that so you don't miss a second of Locked on Tar Heels. We're with you all summer long, even when there's no actual games being played, man. Getting you ready for everything throughout the summer. If you've not joined the Locked on Tar Heels Discord family, we'd love to have you there. That link is in the show notes and it's absolutely free to join. If you want to go deeper with the show, there is the Locked on Tar Heels Insiders, where you get to have direct conversation with me, access to other perks, things like I have a Locked on Tar Heel Insiders Google Drive with all of my stats and charts and data, record books, all of that is in there, free for you as an insider. Join it, check it out today. You guys, it's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. We'll be back with you tomorrow, but until then, peace.